I will say though, I really wish deep fried cheese curds were a health food. It would,
Yeah,
that
for
would, that would be
sure.
so awesome, man.
I would just eat cheese curds for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like if you could just live on it and not die, it would be
Well, I
fantastic.
mean, you can live on it until you die.
Yeah, that's
I mean, you're
true.
gonna die anyway. So you want a life where you care, or you just eat cheese curds all
So
day?
have fun with cheese curds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, greetings, citizens of Earth. Welcome to the Accelerativ Thrust podcast. I'm Dan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we are going to interview not one, but two guests, Claire Nunez and Cal from Dryad.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I just want to remind everybody that we are streaming on a bunch of different platforms, including Spotify, Content Made Right, Transistor. We're on Google. We're on Amazon. And I believe that that's it for now. Correct, Eric?
That's right.
And search for us. We also have official pages on Instagram and Facebook. Hit us up if you're in a local band and you would like to have us review your record, or if you or you know somebody that wants to be interviewed that's either in a band or part of the local scene somehow, just let us know. Send us a message or hit us up in the comments. Before we get to the interview, I would like to cover a couple of very important current events, life-changing current events.
Oh, it's not.
The first one that I feel like we just really need to start off with some finger-licking good or finger-licking bad news. I tend to think this is finger-licking bad. I don't even know why I would suggest it's good news, actually. Two men were arrested for the illegal smuggling of Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. And this is in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the COVID-19 lockdown rules.
Oh.
Yeah. So it kind of makes more sense when you put it in that context. They were arrested trying to enter the city of Auckland with Kentucky Fried Chicken, which all the restaurants, I think, are on lockdown there. So they, I don't know where they got their the black market KFC from. I want to warn everybody, do not go to Auckland with KFC. That would be very bad. It's not a good outcome. Do you have any KFC stories at all, Eric?
No, no, I don't. But I will say this week, for whatever reason, I got way into Mad Max.
Oh, yeah?
I watched Fury Road last Thursday, and then I watched all the other ones since then and over the weekend. So when I read about this, I know that New Zealand is not Australia, but I think the accents are similar. And so I just instantly thought of like a Fury Road type situation with the KFC instead of gasoline or whatever. So yeah, I just imagine the cops chasing them through the desert and in these really elaborate tank cars and stuff. It made the story a little more interesting, but also not real. So
yeah. Do you think they had the sides with it, like the mashed potatoes and biscuits and honey?
Yeah, from what I read, they only had like 3 buckets of chicken. But they had a bunch of sides, and then they had like $70,000.
No. Oh, okay. Now that part I did not see. I mean, I guess I didn't get that far because I had to stop at Black Market KFC. Just like right there. I'm just like, wow.
I don't understand. Like, okay, so let's say that all the restaurants here where I'm at in Iowa City were closed. I seriously couldn't drive to like Riverside and get something to eat and bring it back home. Like, I don't understand how food is black market anyway.
Yeah.
It's not an illegal thing. It's not stolen that we know of.
Yeah.
So like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, no, it is very, I mean, that is really totalitarian, like right there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
when you really think about it, it's pretty crazy. People are going to start defending the biscuits. Because those biscuits, they used to be really good. I mean,
Oh yeah, they're not now.
I don't know.
Oh,
I guess I haven't really had KFC to speak of that recently.
well, I think they just replaced all bread with chicken breasts anyway.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I heard.
Well, I know that they had the I think it's called the double down sandwich, which is like the patties are like literally 2 fried chicken breasts with like bacon and cheese and all kinds of stuff. Now, if there was no breading on the chicken and it was grilled, it would be a low carb meal. So I guess it would be healthy. Depending on who you talk to. But with all that breading included, that's sounds bad. It sounds amazing in some ways, but sounds bad in a lot of other, maybe more ways than it. It's a double-edged sword, as they say.
It's a double down sword.
Double down sword. The other thing that I want to touch on just really briefly is some updated stuff about the Nirvana baby. So interesting that around the same time that he sues the estate, the 30th anniversary super duper extra special deluxe reissue of Nevermind comes out.
Yeah.
Like around the same time.
Yeah.
They're remastering it again.
Yeah.
How many times does Nevermind need to be remastered? I thought it sounded
0
good.
times. As far
Exactly. I mean, okay, but I was actually wrong about the amount he's seeking, because it's true he's seeking $150,000 at a minimum from each of the defendants in the suit, including Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, the estate of Kurt Cobain, and the photographer. And so that would actually total $2,550,000.
Okay.
So anyway, Anyway, I just kind of wanted to correct myself from, I don't know, what was that, 2 or 3 episodes back that we talked about that.
Yeah.
I still stand by the position, though, that I think he kind of deserves that money in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, wasn't the news this week is that he wanted his packaging removed from the packaging?
Yeah, that too.
So will he drop the lawsuit if they Photoshop his wang out?
It's a good question, but Walmart's already ahead of the game. They did that all the way back in the 90s. I mean, they photoshopped his wang, and then also on In Utero, they changed the name of the song "Rape Me" to "Waif Me."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Walmart already beat him to that. So I guess he doesn't need to worry about Walmart. But it's all these other retailers. What's he going to do about them?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Does it really need to have a baby wiener on there anyway? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean,
don't know.
that is an interesting question. I mean, what I get from the meaning of the cover is he's chasing after the dollar, which I think was Nirvana's or maybe Kurt's sort of commentary on the fact that they like sold out, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe if we're looking at what the cover means and things, maybe it's because they were exposed or something. Whatever.
That's true.
That's true. We can read into it a million different ways, but I would have never thought, man, this cover's really missing something. I think it needs a
baby
on it. No, I just don't think I would have noticed.
I agree.
Just had never been there, but
the cover. I don't think the cover is missing anything by not having it on there.
But I mean, they left it in, and now they got to give up the cash.
You got to give up the cash, man.
Got to give up that wiener cash. That's
$2 million.
Yep, that's how I made all my money. I mean, I just pose nude a lot.
Is that going to be the cover of your next album?
Me swimming nude?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It would be banned.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know.
It
Why would it
would.
be banned?
Well, they would make up new laws.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Maybe we really need to crack down on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. This has gone too far.
Yes.
This is the Two Live crew of
Two life,
hairy dudes records.
two life crew of big hairy dudes. Well, at least it wouldn't be me posing nude in an album cover. So,
Well,
but
maybe we should just all do all new
do it all.
in solidarity with Spencer's baby wiener.
It becomes it
It's
becomes
a
like,
movement.
yeah, it becomes a movement in Iowa. Yeah, let's think about that. People of the Iowa music scene.
Oh, boy.
So anyway.
Oh, there they are.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, it's me, Claire.
How's it going?
How's it going, Claire?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Figuring out this Zoom thing because I've managed to not do that this entire
wow.
pandemic. I know.
Nice job.
Oh,
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, you're doing great. So we have Cal and Claire from Dryad on the line. They are, well, 2/4. That's 1/2. I know third grade math. Of Dryad, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. And the reason I asked that way is because it seems like you've had a couple of lineup changes over time.
Very true. Yeah, we were
Yeah.
a three-piece for a couple years.
Right. Yeah. So that leads, I guess, directly into my first question, which is, how did you guys get together? How did Dryad start and all that, the history?
All that.
Yeah.
great
Well.
Nickelodeon show, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, great 90s reference. Yeah, we got together. Actually, Cal was trying to resurrect his other band, and he needed a bassist.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never played bass before, but I played guitar.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
So I kind of figured it out. And so we were doing that for a while, and we actually played a gig at the Lighthouse, if you guys remember that house venue from several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
here in Iowa City. And then past that point, we started writing kind of crustier songs that just didn't quite fit in with the old doomy kind of band that Cal was trying to do. So hence Dryad began.
Cool. Yeah. And so originally it was just the two of you. Is that right?
Yeah, it started as a power trio kind of originally, and that was what we always wanted to, have that bassist, just the guitar, bass, drum kind of thing. We wanted to make something kind of heavier, but some of the drummers we had a couple different drummers before we settled on this guy Oliver, who we play with now.
This guy.
The first couple of drummers were, with metal, it's like in Iowa, it's like, oh, I like metal. Well, I like this band, and it could be one whole other end of the spectrum, and
Right.
I think that really affects the sound. Some people are like, I don't want to go fast, and some people are like, I just want to go slow, or
Right. Mm-hmm.
So eventually, yeah, we started off with like kind of in the shadows of that. We're like, oh, if we gig under this moniker, maybe we'll get more gigging opportunities. But then we changed the name, and basically because we didn't want to. Some of the former members of the band that we were using that name from, they were like, oh, so we want to start playing again. We're like, well, not necessarily. We kind of just want to just play as a new thing altogether, and so yeah. And then we finally got a steady drummer, David, who was a student, and he's the guy who we recorded the first couple of demos with before he graduated and moved away.
Gotcha. So right now, then it's Oliver on drums and Joe on bass.
Joe plays bass,
Okay.
Always bass.
not drums.
Yeah. and Oliver plays guitar in Death Kill
And
Overdrive.
Oliver, plays drums.
Everyone can
and
just play everything. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the dream. When we were a 3-piece, me and Cal would switch guitar and bass throughout our sets, which I kind of miss. But you know.
So then you both play guitar now. Then is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
now we both play guitar, and Joe's on bass. But yeah, I do have this secret dream that we all just do a little rotating set.
Right. Cool.
It has been cool to sit down and it has been kind of cool to sit down and focus on our individual instruments for once and just kind of write a record, knowing our play. I think that's been cool for Joe and Oliver, this is the first record we've done with them.
Yeah.
It's the first songs we've written with them. So we actually have a small amount of material, enough for Corey Peak to give us a little anthology tape, but that material, Joe and Oliver are hardly on it, if they are at all. And so this is the first thing we sat down and wrote with them, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
So when you guys first started the band, who are some of your, I guess, inspirations for the sound? I hear a lot of kind of black metal thrash and stuff like that, but then I also hear some of the atmospheric sounds. Like I know, Claire, I know that you do some synth stuff like solo. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And so I hear a lot of stuff kind of in this metal genre. So who are some of your guys' inspirations, particularly when you started the band Dryad?
Well, for me, I would say Nausea was a big one. I really liked their lyrics and their that back and forth style. I always like Wendy O. Williams. She's just kind of a big influence on me in general.
Sure.
I really like her vocals.
We're into nastier punk metal. So the Plasmatics and stuff like that were great.
But but it's, I mean, I will say I think it's evolved a lot too, to add more of our atmospheric and noise
So there's
noise fixes.
So Dan and Eric, there's too many influences, which is the problem.
Right.
We had a hard time focusing on one kind of stupid subgenre of metal.
Sure.
We kind of fucked around with, or messed around with, a couple other things, and but we always kind of wanted to have this kind of we'll keep it punk rock in some way or another. So that's kind of always been a core. But there's some expanse going on with the sound, and you'll hear it on this record big time. But we've hinted at it a little bit with some synthesizer work, and it's just fun to be in a studio and see what you can do with a record. We all like good records.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that earlier. I was listening through some stuff, and one thing I liked a lot listening to sort of your evolution, it's what I really like about it was sort of the first things were a really guttural sort of death metal vocal with almost like black metal screaming type vocals that were behind that, further away. And then sometimes as time moved on, those kind of screamy vocals moved to the front, and the death metal vocals are sort of become background. And sometimes the riffs are super crusty and punk and really straightforward, and then other times they're not. They're more like black or death metal. What I like about that is it seems like you guys have just an endless amount of different things to draw upon, and the ability to just bring them in or push them out at your will. And I think it works really well. It's like you said, you don't have to necessarily decide on a genre or a subgenre. It's you just kind of have the history of death and black metal and grind and all this other stuff that you can just sort of draw from. And I think that comes through. That's what I really like the most about listening through everything. So I don't know. I think that's really cool.
Well, thank you.
It's a lot of fun to play. Yeah, that's really nice of you. It's a lot of fun to play this type of thing. And I think that's where it's all stems from. It's it's too formulaic. It's too fun. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, and that stuff is second nature to us. So it's
Right.
a lot of it is too much fun. We were down to make albums. We're down to write stuff because it's like it's great. Yeah, we like these little pigeonholes of extreme metal subgenres for sure.
For sure, and it's like overwhelming how many subgenres there are. Like, it becomes impossible to even explain. Too, it's
like our buddies Traffic Death who are coming through on Sunday. They're a good example of a band that, I call them a grindcore band for sure, but they just love to have they just love to play. They like all kinds of stuff, and they have all kinds of influences, and I know Nate Beatus likes to sing a lot of different ways to Sunday, and I think they have a good time with that, and that's kind of like the same thing. It's hard to just say like you're a black metal band or you're a grindcore band or you're a death metal band when it's kind of fun to blend them all together and
for sure
also do it in a punk rock way.
One thing I was gonna say was just that I always feel like putting a label on what genre you are really limits yourself.
Oh yeah.
And so that's one thing I've really tried to avoid to do with this band even is kind of let other people put those genre labels on there. But I kind of prefer to just leave it open-ended because it does make it so much easier to write all these different kinds of songs.
For sure. Yeah. And you feel like you're free to write those parts too.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a great thing that's been going on in the scene lately is I see a lot of bands kind of doing that same thing where they're not just like you guys talk about the different subgenres. We're not just, metal. We're not just punk. We're, kind of this hodgepodge of all these things, I even see some of these like bands throw like electronic or even hip hop influences in. And I think that's awesome, just all these different things. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it hasn't always been that way. Like so much so that when crossover first started, they literally called it crossover. Like it was that weird, So
who would you say is the definitive crossover band of that era?
Well, I mean, Eric referenced the crossover moniker and that label. There's, I think, pretty much any band on that label, any of those things could be, or what is it? I can't remember. There's the noise or the combat core. Maybe that's the one because it's like the Animosity record from COC, and then it's like the first Cro-Mags record, and then it's like Excel's first album, and then it's like the first DRI thing.
Right.
There's I'm forgetting a few other ones that are pretty crucial that are like I like more than all of those, which is making me angry. But yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, there's like those good like 8 or 9 bands and then there are a lot of them are from California too.
And most of them are from Venice. It seems like they had almost everyone. They had Beowulf and Excel and
totally Cryptic Slaughter,
Neighborhood Watch. Yeah, Cryptic Slaughter.
Yeah, Cryptic Slaughter were on that. They did one on that imprint that I'm referencing that I slip in my mind. But yeah, any of those are a great example.
Yeah,
I really like the second Cro-Mags record, Best Wishes, which is even more thrash oriented because then that's like really like crossover because it really is like a hardcore band that's trying to be metal, which happened to a lot of hardcore bands in the late 80s because they're like, I'm guessing they were pushed to sell some kind of metal success. I don't know. And then like, because the hardcore thing was kind of ending towards the end of the 80s. So they're like, oh, maybe we'll be a thrash band now or something.
Right.
So you see that with a lot of bands. And I love it. I love it personally.
That's also why in all those punk documentaries, you see all the punk rockers when they talk about the years like after 1985 until like, I don't know, 1990, it was like, oh, punk rock sucked. It's because everybody went metal or crossover.
Yeah, there was just all this really cool metal happening, and they're like, hardcore's over.
Right.
For sure. Like, there's also cool hardcore records in then too, which is funny, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and some of those bands, like I don't even actually know I don't know where they stand at all. Like I can't make it out. Like a lot of those bands I mentioned, I think it's it really is just kind of skate punk, like fast thrash stuff, but they went and added a lot of cool guitar solos, and then it was crossover. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, which sort of, I guess, brings me to wanting to ask you, Cal, about Grimtooth's Very Metal Things. It's
the distro.
So this is sort of an underground distro, sort of based in kind of traditional metal tape trading. Is that a good synopsis?
That is correct. It pretty much started, when we were gigging around and playing out of state and stuff, and buying our friends' records and stuff, and supporting a lot of our friends who also were putting out records for other bands, labels that were starting up, and we wanted to, somehow be involved, because I figured, I always joke about this, but I figured, if our albums don't sell at shows, then somebody else's will. So
it's true.
So we started hauling these around and buying up our friends who we thought rocked. We'd play with somebody like, oh, we like your band, we'll buy some of your stuff. So we ended up getting a decent collection, and I ended up scooping up some connections, working at record stores over the years too, with distributors. So I ended up having a few of my own, and then I was like, you know what, this is kind of fun. But I'm also not a very modern minded guy. I'm kind of a Renaissance dude, I guess. And I just, to not be ironic or anything, I just made a physical catalog. It's easier for me to keep orders under control. It's nothing really that was ever like, there's no monetary supplement like that was ever planned for this kind of thing. So I didn't really have like cash as a goal for this. I just wanted to support underground music, which is really cool right now for metal, as it always has been. So yeah, I just make the catalog, and people sign up through email, and I send you a catalog of underground music that I have way too much of and takes up too much space in my girlfriend's house.
Nice.
That's really, really interesting. For one thing, I like the idea that you're doing a physical catalog, because that's kind of a lost art, if you will.
He does the art for him too. He's not going to say that, but he does the art for them too.
That's awesome. And it
cool.
kind of, from what you're describing, it almost reminds me of whenever I watch a lot of music documentaries, so pardon me if I reference that a lot, but in the thrash metal documentaries and stuff like that, the early tape trading that was going on, even with like some of the bands that became huge, like, Metallica and whatnot, that's how a lot of those bands got their start. Almost sounds like an updated version of that in a way,
Oh, it's wild, guys. Like a lot of the labels that we started to support, like I said, they were our friends' labels, and they were small at the time, but some of them have gotten pretty decent with,
taken off.
With a lot of reissues of some, some popular classic releases, or just a lot of hard work. We've like watched some of these smaller friends labels like really get out there, and it's pretty cool. But it was just that. Yeah, it was like, tape trading and supporting other distributors, and buying directly from bands, and trading with people overseas that I knew to get stuff. I wanted to have I always like seeing a distro at a show. I don't know if you guys do too. And it's cool to have more shit to buy. You get not always. Sometimes you don't want to buy the band's record, but if they have like a bunch of Hellenic black metal, reissues from the late 80s, that's pretty tight. I might want that more. Band, but
absolutely.
So it's a lot of fun for me too. It's just like my expansion of my collection, but it takes up a little too much space now.
Right.
Yeah. It's the first, when I saw that, when I first saw that you were doing that, it just reminded me so much of just the fanzines from when I was into metal, which would have been the very late 80s. But it reminded me of those fanzines, and even like the back of like Metal Maniacs, where people would list a distro and list a bunch of stuff that they have. And it just, Yeah, it was awesome. So when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, I can't believe someone's doing this, and I can't believe they're doing
Thank
it
you.
in my town, you know.
I ended up having this massive mail order list of basically people have been really supportive over the years with bands. Eric, you're definitely on there for different reasons, but it's I ended up having this massive list, which is kind of creepy and kind of weird, but it's like people made multiple purchases. Maybe you'd randomly get one of these stupid catalogs in your mailbox, and just like, oh, here's more dumb shit to buy from this band, because there's a lot of repeat offenders.
Yeah.
People have been supportive over the years. We call them the loyal orcish horde. They're the people who always buy our T-shirts and buy our tapes and our records and CDs.
Yeah, more than that, they're the people who've like helped us
a lot.
Show that like help us load in. They like loan us a vehicle.
Yeah, they're very helpful. We need a lot of help.
Yeah, like we wouldn't be anywhere without our friends, and
we always,
especially here in Iowa City.
We
So
totally consider the band not us, but that it's everybody that is supporting us and keeping us afloat and making it. You know, 'cause I definitely know the feeling of like having, you know, working really hard on music, recording music, whether I was in college or whatever, and working really hard on music, but also not getting gigs or nobody caring about the music I was making or buying, which is, it doesn't really deter you from, you know, making art, but it is really nice to people that like yourselves who asked us to do this podcast. Like we like to support. We appreciate it. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, it's always awesome to see you guys on a bill. It sucks. I started to not go to as many shows like right before the pandemic, and then I couldn't go to any shows. And now I'm just like, I'm going to all the freaking shows, but I'm always excited to see when you guys are playing. So hopefully I can.
Are you coming?
Well, geez, that one this Sunday with that band Traffic Death we were speaking of.
I know. I am going to be out of town, but yeah, I was going to mention that show. It's Mall and Traffic Death.
Yeah.
You guys. And Gourd and Brace, is that right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That
Do you know all of them?
So Traffic Death are good friends. We play with them quite a bit. They're mainstays of the Iowa extreme metal scene for a long time. I'm sure you guys, they need no introduction if you guys are familiar with Black Market Fetus, Nate Fetus's early band. This is basically that now. He got both the Schmelzer brothers back together, and now that's the lineup that they just recorded a new record, which they're supporting and playing some gigs off, which is great to see those guys out and about. It's hard to get them out of Des Moines now because they're a little older, but they friggin' rule live. When they it's kind of like when they get the right punch going on, they really destroy. And so they're playing, and then Gordon Brace are from Chicago.
Cool.
And they're supporting a new EP that they just released, like literally last week or something, it's dropping this week. So they're playing a couple of dates around that, and then Mall are good friends from Fargo, North Dakota, and they are a really strong act that pretty much, if anybody's seen them before, they're probably going to come back again. They're kind of a crossover of kind of like a deathcore thing, but with way more death metal oriented, and dedicated vocalist, two guitarists. It's a great thing. Yeah, they're gonna really
they're hot in the underground right now.
Yeah.
They're awesome. That should be a good show.
It's gonna be a good show.
I'm excited. I'm not sure when we're gonna play again, just because of everything.
Right.
But
gonna play a lot of tunes off our forthcoming record.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got to play one outdoor show at Wake Brewing this past summer, which was really cool. We've played songs from the new album like just a couple times because we had that show, and then we had a house show here in Iowa City
where you tore the ceiling out. Basement.
Oh man,
that was cool.
I know that might be my favorite house show ever, because how do I top that?
Yeah. The pictures were great too. So.
Oh yeah, Zach Newman took some really nice photos throughout the night. Yeah, it was so nice to see a lot of familiar faces there.
That was sort of a watershed moment.
It was like very cathartic.
It really was.
I enjoyed it because well, I had this moment where I was like, I don't know any of these people, which was like kind of weird. But then I realized it's a bunch of like all the new kids and stuff that are moving into town. And I just think it's so great that they're still coming out to shows, and that I do think there's still going to be like a new generation of DIY punks.
Yeah, that's the thing about this town that I love is just that it never ends.
I don't think
4 or 5 years, it's like, oh, that's the end of the scene. No more scene. And then like a new batch of like 3 bands will come along, and they might be like hardcore, or they might be metal, or they might be noise or whatever. And sort of everyone else is just kind of like, oh, well, I can do that. And then you have a bunch of shows happening. It's just, it's awesome. But yeah, the scene dies and is reborn every like 4 to 5 years. So it's nice.
And I'm going to have to get out of my Muscatine shell and come and see you guys.
I mean, yeah, it's a good time.
You should go.
I feel
I've only seen you guys once, and that it was one of your...
we played in the kid. No, Dan, come on, dude. We played with you, man.
No, that's the only time I saw you guys.
I was gonna say we played with Abnormal Man and Zorro.
But I think that was the only time I've actually seen you guys live.
Oh, and wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But
see, I'm like the college kid drummer.
Because that was like one of your first shows.
Where was that at?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was at Gabe's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was Zool.
That was good. That was fun.
Yeah, awesome. Oh man. I haven't been to a show, and I'm thinking the last show I went to was probably a year before the pandemic. So I'm really missing out. Yeah.
You just did that preemptive.
I'm old too.
No, look, I get it. I mean, I always tell people, like, if I weren't playing these shows, it would be really hard to get me to go.
The more poorly planned, the more awkward the show, the better.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Absolutely.
Just utter chaos.
The more chaos.
Yeah. I like the really spontaneous ones that just kind of happen, like, oh, shoot, that's happening in 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, there's no flyer or poster.
Yeah.
No, okay. Yeah. Tonight.
Like the sketchiest of circumstances.
Yeah.
This really great band's coming through town you've known for 6 months, and I find out yesterday. Thank you. Yeah.
The guy who booked the show is getting into the venue with a crowbar.
You guys mentioned recording.
Tomorrow we're going in for a vocal session.
Yeah, we have our last recording session tomorrow, which
cool.
Ready.
So you have all the tracking done, just vocals left.
Yeah, literally vocals.
And, the majority of it done.
Then I've been working on the synths here at home.
Yeah.
Which has been fun.
Cool.
We've been working on this record for like 2 years total.
Nice.
Right. The pandemic set us back quite a lot. So,
but it's dope, and we're really excited.
Yeah.
When it's gonna finally drop, which will probably take another year.
With the way vinyl's going, yeah.
So, but we've been working hard on it in one way or another for like 2 years.
And that's been with Joe and Oliver, right?
Yeah, this is the first full length thing. Yeah, we've written together as a band, and Claire actually demoed the entire thing, and about during the pandemic we really had some time to kind of nitpick and get it kind of exactly where we wanted it with every aspect of it, art and cut some songs here, add some here, and it's pretty cool when you realize some kind of like art project and it comes out to be what you kind of had in mind in the first place.
It's surprising, right? Like,
it is.
As
really
an artist, I usually don't get it right because either I started out wrong and just had a poor foundation, or I didn't know when to stop and I ruined it.
That's my problem.
Oh yeah. I think the artist, speaking of art and artists, the artist showed us the art. about 6 months ago, and it was like, yeah, once again, like this is too close to exactly what I had in mind. Only
That's
better.
cool. Who's doing the art?
Joe Hiraman.
Okay.
Nightmare Imagery.
Nightmare Imagery. Nice.
A local yokel who's doing a lot of work for. He's a really hardworking guy. He does a lot of like album art for a ton of bands all over the country.
Also very hot on the underground scene.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
And so
this show was actually co-sponsored by Joe and I, Very Metal Things, and Joe's Nightmare Imagery, which is something that we're going to try to do more of, where he's going to try to bring in like some good acts, some good regional acts, and we're going to try to find some good local support and put on some really fun extreme metal shows. But this will be a metal focus because of his background with doing a lot of art for some of these bands. So,
for sure.
Yeah. Sure. Awesome.
Yeah. So this is kind of we this is co-sponsored by Joe. This Sunday event that we've been discussing.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Claire, you said that you've been doing the synths at home. Is that right?
Yeah. Luke actually let me borrow one to take home and use, which was a lot of fun. It was a little Prophet. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm a synthaholic, I think is the actual. No, that's not what they're called. I'm a synth enthusiast. So
I am a synth beginner, but I'm becoming a synthaholic.
I am right there with you, Dan. I honestly, gear and electronics terrify me. Like I don't understand them. And I avoided using pedals for a really long time. Exactly, because like anything that is electronic can and will malfunction.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of time during this pandemic to work on synths a lot.
Nice.
And then this past March, I did the Englert Stages series.
Right.
Yep.
Which was very cool and a lot of fun.
It's kind of weird though, isn't it?
It was very bittersweet because I can't believe I got to play on that stage, but not having anyone there, it was very just kind of like, is it real? But then it was extremely anxiety inducing to wait for several months, so March to August, so however many months I
to see how you did.
Very anxious. Yeah, well, at that point I'd pretty much forgotten everything except for the key mistakes I knew that I'd made.
Right.
And that's all I remembered. So it was interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But,
and you have another show coming up too on the October 28th. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Feed Me Weird Things. Presents, and it's with John Mueller. Is that right?
I believe it's Mueller. Yes.
I don't know John Mueller. Do you?
He is a percussionist.
Okay.
Only listened to a little bit, but I know he's been around for a long time, and he was part of the band Volcano Flyer, which is this indie band back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
But I'm excited for that. I'm actually really excited because I've learned a lot since then, and I feel like I've kind of leveled up.
Nice.
Since that last performance.
Gotcha.
So I'm really excited.
How would you describe what you do for people listening?
I would say it's like a little bit John Carpenter style.
Right. That's what I thought too. So that's awesome.
There's definitely elements of that, even in the Silurian age, which is kind of when I started messing with putting synths on the Dryad stuff.
Yeah, that's where I started to hear a lot of those atmospherics and stuff like that.
Yeah, Cal kind of had to convince me to turn those up. It's one of those things where it took me a long time to come around to the idea that anybody would even want to listen to, synthesizer music. What?
Oh, you mean on your own stuff? In Dryad, it just came off to me as like fairly traditional black metal kind of.
I know it's
and that's awesome. So
I think
I was really happy at the end. It was just one of those things where it mostly because we hadn't done it before.
Yeah, I think people with sometimes people in like hardcore or something, or like people in metal, they can get like this idea that like having other elements in your band take away from some kind of extremity that you're doing by just playing guitar, bass, and drums or screaming, which is a kind of a weird take, because to me, like the best qualities of some of these recordings are in the post-production, which adds a lot of texture, and that's what it was always about, was like adding the texture with the synthesizer, or the noise guitars, or the effects, or like pedal board worship, that's all just like to make it a more interesting sound, You get caught up and you're like, oh, I don't want to be an atmospheric black metal band, or I don't want to be like, It's like, it's not about that. It's just like, make a good cut, make a cool record, make a cool song. Like,
Do you guys bring those in very often when you perform live? Like, I don't think I've seen you.
No, that's one thing that I've been trying to figure out is how to incorporate the synths live, because it is, I will say that I think that it's a very different experience to hear us live versus the album, especially like the new album. It's one of those things that I quite figured out how to master playing two instruments at once.
Did you guys always have a desire to include the synth element to the group, even from the very beginning?
Cal is nodding yes. I mean, synths and piano are something that I've loved and messed with since I was a kid, but I
remember when I brought in the little keyboard when we recorded the first record, we didn't get to use it.
Yes. But I literally got teased for it so much when I was a kid that I was just like, there's no way someone will think it's cool.
She's just like really good at keyboards too, which is like, I was like, how can we use this in the band? And I feel like this record, like now, like the best aspect of our musicianship is going to be shown, because Claire is like amazing at keyboards and stuff, which is wild.
And I have seen a couple of piano things that you've posted too that seemed really horror like score-esque to me. Actually, one of them, I like, you posted and said, what horror theme is this? I racked my brain for maybe like 3 or 4 days. I was just like, I didn't get it. What was it?
You think it's Creepers? It's Phenomena. It's Creepers. Yeah.
Well, anyway, have you thought about bringing any of that in as well, like piano, or is it mostly?
Oh, you'll hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're
cool.
You're gonna dig it.
Kind of,
nice.
yeah. Kind of let it go a little bit more.
Yeah, it was a big focus, and I think like when she was like doing all the demoing of it, it was like a huge aspect of it was like how, because to me it's kind of like a spooky element. Like I said, I'm you don't try to be like contrived with it. You're not like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and you have like a triple rack looking,
Not yet.
like a keyboard surrounding you. It's just
sounds like it's coming.
Yes.
But on the
inevitable transition.
On the other hand, it just adds so much to the black metal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're really excited to get it out there.
Yeah.
Whenever that may be.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I wish that I could make it on Sunday, because everyone's going to have a blast. I'm going to be so jealous. This will be my first FOMO experience since the pandemic started, I think.
Oh, no. Oh, you're not missing out.
Oh, don't say that. It's going to be an amazing show, everyone. Everyone listening should go. I do think it's going to be super fun. I think we need a heavy show around here.
Absolutely.
It's been a while. Yeah.
This definitely like a showcase. We're kind of like billing it as like a showcase of Midwest heaviness for sure. Like all the acts are really interesting. I'm excited to see the band from Chicago. I think their new release sounds really cool. And the Fargo band is really, really solid mall. They're very good. And I think Claire and I say we often say that Traffic Death is probably our favorite metal band in the state, if that's fair to say.
Where are they from?
Des Moines.
Okay, they're from Des Moines. Oh, that's right. The Black Market Fetus.
Yeah. Basically, Black
Gotcha.
Market Fetus. Yeah.
Um,
Really fun, like horror themed, fast core. Yeah.
we're
Well,
dead.
you guys have a good show on Sunday. Like I said, I'll try to be there if I can, and Dan is totally going to be there.
Same here.
So,
Thanks for having us, Accelerativ Thrust.
Thank
We had
you
a good
again.
time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was a lot of fun, guys.
So thanks again, and we'll see you guys soon then.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
So that brings us to your upcoming shows and releases for this week. There's quite a few more than last week and some really cool stuff. Sam Lockward and Mike Watt will have a new release coming out on October 1st. That's all the info I have. I know that Sam puts everything on Bandcamp though, so you should go there, and it looks like that's probably Bandcamp Friday. So I would say if you're going to buy it then, because then Sam gets all that sweet Bandcamp cash. But yeah, it's SLWCC Watt. So they'll have a new release out. There is a show happening at the Gas Lamp on that same Friday, October 1st, Gas Lamp in Des Moines. And I don't know these bands, but they're playing there. So 404, Display Case, Three Finger Betty, and The Slow Retreat. Like I said, I can't tell you either way what they sound like, but it was posted on a Des Moines punk rock Facebook group, and so I would guess it's punk rock. Anthony Warden and the Illiterati and Alex Rush will be at Gabe's on October 1st on that Friday. So if you're in Iowa City or Des Moines, you have some options there. Saturday, the 2nd, we have Death Kill Overdrive, and they are playing at the IC Pride Fest in Iowa City. That's just going to be like downtown in Iowa City, and it's going to be all day on Saturday. Their set though is from 4:15 to 5:15. So check out Death Kill Overdrive because they are awesome. That night also in Iowa City, Ryan O'Ryan, whom I don't know, but Jordan Sellergren is playing, and Dave Helmer is playing. Dave Helmer is of Crystal City. And Jordan Sellergren, she does sort of like Americana stuff, reverby kind of stuff. So that's great. And that'll happen at Gabe's on the 2nd. That night, Feed Me Weird Things is presenting Angel Bat Daweed. I don't know if there's a local opener or not, probably not. But I really like to support the Feed Me Weird Things series because they bring a lot of really cool stuff to the area. That'll be at Trumpet Blossom in Iowa City. On Sunday the 3rd in Rock Island, 3rd Avenue and 21st Street, which I don't even know if that's downtown or whatever. I don't go to Rock Island very often, but that's the Lowland Community Block Party. I think it starts at 10, and there's all kinds of stuff happening that day. John Burns will be selling some art there. John Burns was a guest on our show a while back. And Bob Bucko Jr. will be playing some music too. And Bob Bucko Jr. is awesome. Mall Traffic Death, our guests Dryad and Gourd Embrace will all be playing at Gabe's in Iowa City on October 3rd. And then on Thursday, since our show comes out on Thursday, I thought I might mention this now so you don't just have a short notice. The River City Collective is presenting Hail the Sun, Kurt Travis, Koanashi, Body Thief, and Bouquet. That's at the Village Theater in Des Moines. So that's all the stuff that I could find that's coming up. And that's quite a bit of options to go out there and see some music. So
yeah, that's quite a few good events coming up, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Please, if you get a chance, everybody, go check out one of these shows and support your local scene. Always a good thing to do, for sure.
Nice.
So, well, that wraps up this episode, doesn't it, Eric?
Yep, that's it. It's been a week.
It's been a week, and one heck of a week. Please stay away from that KFC. That is illegal.
Yeah, unless you got a fast car.
Yeah, unless you got a fast car like Tracy Chapman.
or Mad Max, but
Or Mad Max,
Either
yeah.
way,
But yeah, move to a state where KFC is legal. That's
Yeah.
all you got to do.
that's it.
So have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I
No, Dan, come on, dude.